gather around, friends new and old, and welcome to the POWWOW podcast. We are your hosts, Philip
and David,
and we'd like to welcome any new listeners to the show. Of course, if you're a reoccurring listener, welcome back. We're glad that you're still here with us, still along the campfire, and honestly, probably making money if you listen to this podcast, because we have one very bold and very correct prediction from the other side of the continent right over there. David Hoffman picked the Bucks for the Super Bowl. And you didn't get the pantsing right.
No,
I don't know that you in your wildest dreams
drop his pants.
Would have thought. No, but he did drop a hilarious GIF and meme-worthy performance.
Yes, yeah, lots of memes. I honestly picked the Bucks in the last podcast because I thought it would be funny because I kind of figured that they wouldn't win. And then they like everything I said, like when I listened back to the podcast, everything that I said made sense up until obviously the part about the weekend, but everything I said, like, you know, it just felt true until we revealed that we actually hadn't even seen the Super Bowl yet because it was Saturday. It was fun.
Yes.
I was delighted to be right.
Yes, I bet you were. I, on the other hand, was drowning my misery in breadsticks. I do a full-on Super Bowl spread for myself. I go and I got some breadsticks from Pizza Hut of all places, and as soon as I went to go to Pizza Hut, I went up and I wanted to just get 10. I had myself, my stepdad, and my best friend coming over to watch the Super Bowl, and I was like, 10 breadsticks just for 3 of us. That should be more than enough. But of course, they hit me with I can get you 20 for the exact same price. What was I to do? I got 20 breadsticks, and because I got 20 breadsticks, all of us had to double dip down on it, and so I was bereft. I was taken away from wings, from burgers. I was taken away from all the good food because I was so full from the breadsticks, because I for some reason just couldn't get past my head that, hey, the breadsticks will probably stay better than the burgers or the wings, Philip, and I hate myself for it.
I love you, Phil. Don't worry.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We are coming to you doing our podcast both with hats.
Yeah.
And I find that, this is a first. Of course, we're probably going to have a lot of firsts since we are still fairly new. But I feel like this is the first. I'm not usually a hat person, but if you can ever find me on the streets and walk up to me and don't shake my hand and don't come within 6 feet of me currently, but if we're talking in the future, in years to come, the constant will be, if you find me with a hat, there's a solid 60% chance that I had not showered that day. That doesn't mean that I stink necessarily, but it just means I have not showered from the time that I woke up that morning.
Well, you know me, man. I am a hat person. I love my hats. Right now I'm wearing the hat from the Los Angeles Rugby Sevens tournament that I went to like 2 weeks before lockdown happened. It was a Sevens tournament hosted in Los Angeles for the first time in like 20 years, and I got to go. We bought tickets. A friend of mine went, and like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, something like that, everything locked down and all events were canceled. So kind of my last really awesome adventure. Well, except for the trip to New York that I did right before lockdown. Other than that, going to see that tournament was kind of my last event. And so this hat is very special to me in that regard. All right, this is That Slaps. I hope you enjoyed that bass line. That's coming at you from Jake Corlang, my good friend, who's the most prolific bass player I ever did meet. So this segment, if you're not familiar already, is kind of entertainment of the week, whether it be a song. Up until now, it's been all songs, but it could be anything. We like
are
to
you
leave
foreshadowing?
I might be. We like to
Up
keep
until
it open.
This week.
We like to imagine that even a movie might slap in an abstract way, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I believe.
I'll start.
Yeah, I believe we've kind of kept a trend going where you've been going first, Phil. Do you want to take it first?
I'll take it first, just for this next and possibly last time before we switch it off. But I'll take it first, just because I feel a tease coming, and I wanna give you some room to breathe on your end of that. For mine, I'm gonna pick a song. It's called Mariposa, and it's by the Peachtree Rascals. Especially since we are recording this on Valentine's Day, it centers around love. It's just a fun little ditty. Not by Jack and Diane. Enjoy the song. My hat's off to you, even though it still remains on my head. Okay, David, go ahead.
All right, yeah. I mean, you guys know it. I am bringing to you a not song. It is very much a TV show. I just finished season 1 of Ozark, and
Wow.
wow, yeah, it is. It's been highly talked about. I think it's won some awards. It is really high caliber TV. Really high
It's
caliber.
worth the hype.
Oh yeah, it's very well made, well written, like tremendously acted, and I've been very impressed. I've just started season 2. Season 1 is great. I highly recommend, if you liked, even if you this is kind of loose, but if you like Breaking Bad, give it a shot. Season 1 of Ozark, if it were a song, it would definitely slap.
All right, so as I mentioned in the previous segment, today you and me, Hoffman, are recording on Valentine's Day. Now, our standard day to release this episode is on Wednesday, so we realize that you probably, the listener, have had some time to breathe away from Valentine's Day.
You're
You've
over it by
enjoyed the fruits
now.
of Yeah, you've either enjoyed the fruits of your labor if you remembered, or you're probably over the brunt of the punishment and derivativeness that your significant other has given to you because you forgot to get a gift or what have you. I think we are both. Do you celebrate whenever you're with a significant other, David? Do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Are you a person who goes all
Um,
out, or just a
mm,
chocolate
I
bar?
guess if I had the option to, I would be that person, perhaps. But no, I guess not. I mean, okay, 2 relationships in my life, 3 Valentine's days having been in relationships, and I think I've celebrated it once. The second time was because long distance, and the third time I think also long distance. Or at least we weren't together on the day, so we were just like, whatever. It's never been a big deal to me. I don't think you should need an excuse to be romantic. I'm a romantic every day of the year.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, you are.
yeah. So
Yes, you are,
no,
and
I
I
don't.
and I love you for it.
I don't. I no. I Valentine's Day's never been big for me. I mean, it's an excuse to eat chocolate. Who needs it?
Yeah, I think that Valentine's Day, whenever I'm with a significant other, I think I use it as an excuse maybe to go out. I think, you know what, I wouldn't say that I'm a sucker for it. I'm usually a sucker for Christmas. Christmas is my big one that I will fully buy into, because at the core of the message, at least the foundation of what Christmas stands for, and what it projects onto the world, besides marketability and consumerism, when you actually just take that all away and goodwill towards man, I really can buy into that. I really enjoyed that thought process, and having that message spread throughout the world. But for Valentine's Day, I think it's a nice excuse. I wouldn't go so far as to say I think it's somewhat arbitrarily weird to withhold the full significance of one's love and just give it forth on one day. I feel like there are a couple occasions throughout the entire rest of the year that would demand for a person to show love, or show how much they love a person that they're with, beyond just one day, especially when it's a holiday. Not, I mean, I think you can make an argument that you probably would stand to benefit more by showing somebody what you possibly would give them on Valentine's Day, just to add that on to their birthday, because I think that is a much more specialized, much more funneled, much more distilled day about the other person, and you can make that about how you feel about them. On Valentine's Day, though, itself, I always kind of am afraid of how it comes across. So I usually have a discussion with my significant other whenever that happens about the day, because of course if it matters to them, then guess what, it's going to matter to you. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't think that as long as you both have to be at an understanding. If one person really cares and the other doesn't, that's not good. If both people really care or both people don't, that's where the harmony comes in. And I think that for myself, I don't usually go all out on Valentine's Day. I recognize, I acknowledge it. I maybe buy a little more whipped cream, as it were, but outside of that, I don't think I go fully out for Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
But it
look,
leads to,
I
yeah.
want
Go ahead. Go ahead.
to. There's one thing that you said that I feel very strongly about is that it really is very commercial. It takes the idea of a holiday that's about your significant other, and it totally commercializes it, and that's one of my least favorite things. And you see it with a lot of
Sure.
holidays, Easter, Christmas for sure, but at least Christmas, I really feel strongly about the traditions behind it, and the
Yeah.
commercial aspect is sort of layered on top of it. Valentine's Day, again, like I could do without it. The commercialism
Yeah.
kind of feels a little bit more prominent because the day itself isn't that important to me. Even when I have had a significant other, yeah, it's fun to say Happy Valentine's Day and like maybe a gift or some chocolates, whatever. But it's not. I don't feel that deeply like again I don't think there should need to be an excuse to have a romantic day. I think there shouldn't be one day a year where you feel obliged to get your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever flowers. I think that's something that you can do at any time, and I've always felt that way. And so I guess the commercial side of Valentine's Day really gets to me, especially being single, obviously. but
Right.
but even in a relationship, it's never been that. Like I don't love it. I really don't love it.
With all that being said, and us being able to be high and mighty above all this commercialization and manifested love, what's the biggest gift you ever got somebody?
For
You want me?
for
You want me to start,
for
or
for
you?
Valentine's Day?
Yes, specifically for Valentine's Day, for the sole occasion of Valentine's Day being the reason that you got them a gift, not a birthday gift, not a Christmas gift, not a, I don't know, Fourth of July gift, whatever it
I
is.
think
I'm saying
I'll let you go
specifically.
first.
Okay. I was in I was in high school, where I feel like a lot of those emotions are much more raw, a lot more just, you just don't know what you don't know. And so
Yeah,
I
you're kind of
was I was in
kind of an idiot in high school, right?
late high school, early college. I forget where precisely. And it was my first girlfriend, and I got her on Valentine's Day. I knew where she lived, and so I had overnight those people who do like the pink flamingos in their yards. Are you familiar with this idea of people?
Vaguely.
Okay, so overnight, yeah, you just hire somebody, and they wake up, and out in front of their yard are a bunch of signs or a bunch of flamingos or a bunch of whatever it is. And so I got a service to go forth and put all these little Valentine's Day, a full Valentine's Day theme, uh, a soiree in front of her. And of course, the biggest thing was that they would take it all back. So that that was truly the gift, is that you get the full experience of like, oh, nice. But then at the same token, they come back the next day and take it all back. So there's no cleanup. It's all fun. It's all no fuss. It was my biggest all out that I've ever gone. Since then, I've dialed it back. I've realized the error of my ways. I try to make it every day is Valentine's Day by showing how much you appreciate somebody, more so than just saving it like it's a bank and then just blah, just putting it all out there. What about you? Have you thought about anything?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I already again like I think I've spent one actual Valentine's Day with a significant other, and
Mm.
I got her roses, and I
Okay.
might have paid
I
for
mean,
the
yeah.
movie tickets, but again, like I've never been much of a gift giver on, like it's not a big holiday for me. It never has been, And it wasn't like I failed as a boyfriend. It was just not something that we made a big deal about, or at least we didn't make a big deal out of gift giving on that day. We went to go see. You want to guess what we went to go see, Phil? I think it was
Valentine's
2015.
Day?
2015.
Valentine's Day 2015. 2015 was that it had, I'm guessing, some form of an action movie.
No, man. 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, you did. You went all into it.
It came out like we were just like, "Hey, let's go see it. Why not?"
I think it was,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you're going to go in for it, man.
She had read the she had skipped to all the sexy parts of the book, so she knew what was coming. She didn't even read the whole book. Oh man.
She went just straight to the descriptions of everything.
Yep.
Hey.
I think she looked up which pages to turn to, and that's how she read the book. Yeah.
So speaking of turning the page, let's turn the page forward into our next topic that we want to go to. Not a new segment, just a new topic. And it has to also do with love, even though, yes, we wanted to take a note of Valentine's Day. I think it lends itself to a bigger discussion that you and me are more interested in, and that there are some people who have already found their Valentine, who have already found their life partner and hunkered down and are getting married, and beyond that, having kids.
Yeah.
And it might have it might be so significant that it might not have to be said, but I find it funny because I actually don't know how you feel about this, but I personally find it a weird idea or concept to have kids at our age, and I'm older than you. I'm an old man compared to you.
Okay, let's not exaggerate. Yeah, no, it is weird.
It's weird.
It is weird.
It's a weird concept to have
Especially
kids
since,
at our age. For me,
there's people who I went to high school with who had kids. Like, I know people who I went to high school with who have 2 kids. That's crazy.
Yeah. I know somebody with 2 kids too.
Yeah, I mean, and good for that. Like, I'm not. There's no judgment at all. Like, I'm so like.
Oh, no judgment whatsoever.
So happy for those people. There's multiple, and good for them. I do want kids eventually. It just, I guess, if you're not at that point yet, if you're not having kids yet, then it seems strange when people the same age as you are having kids. I don't know. My sister just had her first child a few days ago, and that's so exciting. But it is also extremely trippy when someone you grew up, like I grew up with my sister, we're really close, and wow, she's got a child now. It's crazy, and it's exhilarating and so amazing, but it does sort of change your perspective on everything.
Yeah, even if it's not yourself, obviously going through one of these life moments of marriage, kids, or death, obviously, because if you're dead, you're not going to be going through that. It'll be somebody else. But if it's not you going through one of those life moments, I think it truly ages you and makes you realize, wow, I'm of an age where life can now have significant consequences going forward. I myself, I think I had that first realization when somebody I knew went to not preschool, but elementary school with, all the way through high school. That person died, and we weren't even close. I would just say that there was just 7 of us who went to the exact same high school all throughout elementary school. And so when one of us died, there were a lot more people than just us 7 who mourned for him and were saddened by that. But it's those types of moments and those bookmarks in one's life, that can really stand as singular moments within a person's life that make them realize just that age and life happens, and it continues to move forward, whether
finite.
You want to or not. It's finite. And I find it so weird, especially to have relations relationships with people who I personally know, and still they're the exact same person. They're just married, or they have a kid, or they have two kids, because it's the first time where I have not, as a kid, looked up to somebody and they're an adult. They're a grown up, and they're a grandfather or a grandmother or a married couple, and they're just a middle-aged man with a mustache. I mean, it's or a middle-aged woman with kids of her own, or somebody's just a mom. Now it's putting them into a peer group with myself, and putting myself into that aged community
Yeah.
is truly weird of a
It
conversation and
is.
inner dialogue that I have to have.
It is. Yeah. I'm totally with you. I look at this tiny little baby, and
Your
I'm the
sister's
yeah, and I'm her godfather, and I think to myself, I'm going to know this child, when she's 20, if I'm still alive. I hope to be. That
yeah, you
I
better
will
not.
have
You
known
better not be
her
dead.
her whole life, and I aim to be uh, a big part of her life, as a mentor, as a godfather. Yeah, it completely trips me out that yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what else I can say about it. It is very special. But
David,
but you go on.
do you think that because of the career paths we have chosen and how much they're in the public persona, just how much more so outside work can and should be put into it in order to become successful in the medium upon which we both have staked our career and our livelihoods into? Do you think that is why the idea of settling down and that the aspect in life that provides is so foreign an idea for us? Do you think those two idealisms within a person that make it so unique and so weird for us as much as it might be for somebody else?
I don't know. I wouldn't be in the career path that I've chosen if I didn't think I could have a family and children and a wife and all that while still pursuing an acting career and filmmaking in general. That's something that's more important to me than most anything else, and that's always been the case. So if I didn't think that I could have that kind of life, I don't imagine I'll ever be Leonardo DiCaprio. but I do still want to act professionally and direct professionally, perhaps casting even. That's something that I've always wanted to get into. I don't if I thought that was gonna if I was thought that was gonna stop me from having a family, then I wouldn't be doing it.
So, whenever you're with somebody, when or has or does the conversation of wanting a child with a person, let alone marriage, I guess I guess technically the first conversation could or should be marriage, but has the thought of your career versus a family, creating and starting your own family, have those two parts of your brain ever disconnected from each other? Have you
No,
ever disassociated
no,
yourself with a
and
relationship because
my again, two relationships, significant relationships in my life. The first one, young and naive. Yeah, we talked about marriage and children all the time. The second one is not something we really talked about because I think we both acknowledged that we were a bit young to be thinking about those kinds of things. Neither of us were in that arena yet. But the older I get, the more that becomes a present thing. If I were to get into a relationship, that would probably be a factor. I mean, probably. You never like to pigeonhole yourself. You never like to sort of give yourself limits
yeah,
in
right,
that
right.
way. But yeah, it would probably be a discussion, perhaps.
See,
Not in the
for
first
me,
few months, probably.
no, that's a great way to not ever have a Valentine's is date number one. Hey, could you pass the bruschetta? And how do you feel about having kids with me? Like I feel pretty strongly about naming our kid Ted. I mean, that's just a bit too much on any of the first 3, 4, maybe even 2 months worth of dates, whatever that may be. Either way, I think that you and me, David, are on different scopes in that as I grow up, as myself, as I age and go further along in life, I think the idea and appeal of having kids becomes more and more disaffectionate towards me. I don't know how this affects with other people. I don't know if a lot of people who are parents didn't want to be parents until they were informed that they were going to be, or if the majority of them do indeed plan it out and have that yearn or some ember within them to want to be parents, and they just get stoked by the news of an event is happening. But myself, maybe it's my upbringing, maybe it's the fact that I was raised by a single mother, that and I've seen just how hard that is and how much it can be a detriment to other people's. When I look at my close friend group, well, not my close friend group, but any person that I deemed talented within the arts, because I grew up in as an actor, and I saw some friends get derailed because of the essence or the presence of a child in their lives. I think I think I've just have so much disdain for the idea of myself having a child, because I think it becomes detrimental to my career. And so because of that, I think the idea of having a kid as I grow older has become less and less appealing.
Do you think that might change if you were to meet someone who didn't share those views?
Man,
we are really opening up here. Go on, Phil.
I know. I don't think so, man. I think if in order to be somebody that I would be interested in, you'd have to at least be open to the idea of probably the majority, 90%, if I had to put a quantitative figure to it, 90% of my being will not be wanting to have a kid.
Okay.
So I think that that's part of the essence. It becomes something of a deal breaker because of just how vehemently I disassociate kids to my career and how much of an importance I put forth to my career and my livelihood. All right, so we now bring in our next segment called Fun Factoid of the Week. Of course, each and every week we bring in a little fun tidbit, a little fun fact that we each discovered on our own. Maybe it was just willy-nilly or we actively sought it out. Either way, we promise that it's true to the best of our abilities. So I will let you, David Hoffman, go first.
Yeah.
Because I keep on stealing all the slapping thunder.
You do. So I found out this week that potatoes, you probably saw the same meme. I have verified it, okay? Potatoes have more chromosomes than human beings. Potatoes have 48 chromosomes, which is 2 more than the 46 human chromosomes. Isn't that
makes sense.
Fascinating? You are
that makes sense because
you are
of how
simpler.
versatile it is.
You are simpler than a potato.
Yes. Potatoes may not have layers, but yet they are complex. My fun factoid of the week is the record for the heaviest birth is currently held by Yantis Anna Bates, who gave birth to a boy weighing 22 pounds and measuring 28 inches in her home in Seville, Ohio on January 19th, 1879.
22
But I love how
pounds.
It's phrased.
Wow.
22 pounds. You know why I love this headline so much? Is because that's a great little story, right? 22 pounds, it has everything. It's immediately followed. The next sentence followed is the boy died just 11 hours later. How friggin' depressing is that? That
is depressing.
You're thinking you're just reading a little fact. Oh, that's cool. Wow, that must hurt. I couldn't imagine giving birth as a man. That something like that coming out of and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, he died 11 hours later. Jeez. Way to just kill and sour the mood.
All right. This is once more. You guys have heard it before. This is our little afterthought to our main topic. And given that it's Valentine's Day, we're talking about the best candy.
Yeah,
So
baby.
where do we start here, Phil? What's your favorite?
All right. I think we should start with chocolate because as much as people have their favorites on it, I think there's also a common general area about where we'll go. So chocolate, I'm going to start us out. I'm going to go controversial right off the top. I'm going to go almond joy. I like coconut. Obviously, if you don't like coconut, it's a complete non-starter. But almond joy, I love almond joy as a chocolate.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, chocolate for me, I'm a snob. Big time snob. I hate Hershey's.
When it comes to chocolate or just in
No.
general or
You.
yeah.
I'm okay. I love Lindt, like just like fancy chocolates. I can't do Hershey's. I really can't.
You've outgrown it. You've outgrown
No,
your
I mean
tastes have matured beyond
I
Hershey's.
never really could. I never
Oh,
really could
okay.
do the Hershey's thing. It's not a big chocolate brand here in Europe. Here you got Milka, Cadbury's. Well, Cadbury's is kind of a UK thing, but you got like Milka, and then you've got like certain Belgian brands and stuff. But the number one, 100%, don't care where you're from, best chocolate you can get is Lindt. Lindt chocolate.
All right.
Whether you like dark
We
chocolate,
move.
milk chocolate, white chocolate, Lindt is top of the line. Okay.
I would have to look. I would have to look that up. I don't think I've ever had it. Uh, we go on next to sour, the sour segment. Let's go to. I'm gonna go with Jolly Ranchers Green Apple. There is no doubt in my mind that Jolly Ranchers Green Apple is the best sour candy. It's just a hint of sour, and it's not overpowering. It's not gonna make your booty hole pucker as well as your lips. It's just the right amount. And Green Apple is the best. Don't grape me. Don't you dare grape me.
Here's where we discover the divide here, because again, like, I didn't grow up with American candy, so I mean, I like really sour things. I tend to prefer gummies to hard candies. So
Okay.
like really sour gummy worms. I yeah. I enjoy I enjoy really sour gummy worms. But
All right.
I'm also weird. Like, I
Finally.
can't really do berry flavors, so it's got to be like
Hmm.
citrusy flavors or apple or stuff like that.
Okay. We'll end here on sweet, our sweet category. I'm gonna go with licorice,
Hmm.
and not just any licorice. We're gonna go with red vines.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
come at me with Twizzlers. There is no way that Twizzlers are the superior licorice out of the two.
I don't even like licorice,
It's
but
not even a
I almost thought you were
it's
gonna
not
go
even a
fancy
contest.
there, because red vines, Twizzlers, either way, it's like it's kind of candy
I'm just talking to
licorice,
the
whereas like licorice can be kind of fancy. I don't know,
right,
sweet,
but
sweet. I mean, when I think of sweet, I generally gravitate towards chocolate, but I know we're sort of splitting them into two. So again, I'm gonna go with gummy bears, like, or any kind of like Haribo gummy things. All right, moving on to our game. So every week we're gonna do a sort of quiz game thing, a competition between Phil and myself. And at the end of the year, maybe year, I think we're going for, we're we're gonna tally up the scores, and there might be some kind of punishment. So if you have ideas for punishments, please DM our Instagram at powwow_podcast. This
yes,
week it's
please
my
tell us how
turn.
to best humiliate ourselves, in just for your amusement, please.
So this week it's my turn, and right now, so if we imagine that our main topic was our Valentine's date, then this game is the morning after, Phil. And how best to take on the morning after a Valentine's night than with a cup of coffee. Phil, how do you take your
Okay.
coffee?
Empty. I choose
Empty.
orange juice.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see
I'm
how
not a
much.
coffee person.
Okay, well then, good luck, my friend. Let's see how much you know about American coffee consumption.
That is so funny.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
On questions that call for a percentage, you will have a leeway of plus or minus 3%. Okay?
Okay. Sounds
All right.
good. Sounds good.
Taking a page out of your book here. If you don't know what I'm
love
talking
it.
about,
I love it.
check out the episode last week, okay? All right, first question. What percentage of American adults drink coffee every day?
Oh. I'm going to go with I don't think it's a tremendous amount. I think I'm probably going to go 54%.
Ooh. I'm sorry. You would have been good with anywhere between 61 and 67. So the correct answer is 64%. Yeah, 64% of American adults drink coffee every day. All right, question 2. What percentage of coffee consumers take their coffee black?
Ooh. Let's go with wow. I'm feeling 7 or 17. Let's go with 17.
Double it and you would have been right. It is 35.
Oh, wow.
35%. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's surprising. Okay.
It surprised me too. Maybe in Italy, I would have been like, yeah, of course.
Sure. Sure.
All right. So you got to get all 3 of the rest of the questions right.
I'm ready, baby.
All right.
ready.
The FDA recommendation for caffeine consumption is 400 milligrams or less. That's about 4 cups. How many cups do you think the average American drinks? You have a leeway of 0.2 cups.
Okay, so that does tell me that it can be in.
Yes, it's average. It's an average.
Right. Sure. So, let me think about this. How many per day? Per day?
Yes, in a day.
Then I don't. I'm gonna go with. I think it's around 3, but I think it's gonna be about 3. Wow, 3.1.
That is exactly right. Well done.
Baby.
3.1 cups per day. Well done. I'm impressed. Very well done. For someone who doesn't even drink coffee. He doesn't even drink coffee. All right. Who drinks coffee more prolifically? Men or women?
That's a word.
So let me just explain the basis for this question. A certain percentage of women drink coffee and a certain percentage of men drink coffee. Which one is higher, women or men?
Wow. I think men are more creatures of habit, but I think women will, I think that they'll put because they get it
I will say
earlier,
this.
so
When I was reading this article with all the stats, women and men tend to drink coffee for different reasons.
At the same rate? Then I'm going to go with women. Because I think that they do a lot more and men will use it for more of its effect, and women will just drink it because it tastes good too.
You're correct. Women, 66% of women drink coffee, and 62% of men. So there you go. All right.
Last one for all the marbles.
Yeah, you could win this week. What percentage of coffee?
Give me like a morning after pill.
It's another percentage question, which is not your strong suit, my friend. What percentage of coffee drinkers order their coffee through an app?
Oh no. No. What percentage of okay, so they have to be coffee drinkers. So therefore, if they're already coffee drinkers, then that means that if they're going through Starbucks, wow, I think that it's around 70%. But if I'm wrong, I think it's going to be on the under. So I'm going to go 67%.
Not even slightly close. It's 9%.
Oh, wow.
9%. Yeah. Not a lot of people
that makes me feel better.
use the app. Yeah. You came real close though. You came overall, at least, not on that question, but overall you came really close. I'm impressed.
Wow.
Maybe in 2 weeks' time.
All right, so we have that game in our bag, which means that the official score for February thus far is David is at 1, and I still remain at 1 with 2 losses to his 1.
All right. We have a few credits to throw out. Phil?
Yes, thank you so much for the wonderful intro and outro music and the help with that from our favorite friends down at Cass and Crossland. Make sure to check out their Spotify for some of their great tunes.
Once again, thanks to Jake Corlang for that bass line you heard for That Slaps.
And finally, thank you for the artwork provided by Tara Armstutz. I will recommend her till the day is long because she is terrific. We use her imaging for any and everything with every chance we get because it is so gosh darn beautiful. Thank you. And thank you so much to you, the viewer, for tagging along with us on this wonderful adventure today. Of course, you can listen to us every Wednesday. We release our podcast every Wednesday and with promotional materials coming out throughout the rest of the week. So you can always stay tuned with us, and we try to give our predictions and stay current with everything on the trends. You know, if GameStop were to happen again, we'll buy a couple of stocks in there. So thank you so much for you listening. Yes, you. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. Please continue to do so. If you aren't already, subscribe to the podcast on whatever podcast format you possibly enjoy, whether it be Spotify, iTunes. I think we even have Google Podcasts. Everything except for Pandora. Forget you, Pandora. We don't care about you. We don't need you. You aren't our primary source of listeners.
You take care in these woods here. There are bears.